I remember these events so vividly. Mom we were actually boiling githeri for supper. And I found my mom in the kitchen. And asked Mom, there's this man we were with, and who is he? And the countenance of my mom just changed entirely.
It's like, why reminded me of
why
the past?
reminding me?
Yeah.
And I saw her eyes becoming tearful. And she told me, that's your dad, but I don't know where you're going to get him. I was 21 years old. I had faced quite a lot in life.
Yeah.
I had experienced so much pain, and I was still fending through the same.
Yeah.
I told my mom, you just let me know where I can find him. I will go look for him by myself.
Yes.
Sure enough, the following day, Mom gave me 100 shillings. I went to Eldoret.
To look for him.
To look for my dad.
As you're walking towards that place looking for your dad, did you have questions in your mind?
A lot. Many questions. I was just like, will he accept me?
Yeah.
Who will he think I am? You know, I was emaciated. I know I'm not very huge, but I was thinner.
Then you are.
And and I was just
Someone will just tell.
Yeah, so he could look at me and even just reject me by
the
how I
looks.
look.
Yeah.
And I was not even in good clothes because I didn't have. So I was like, will he even accept me?
Yeah.
How will this turn out? But that confidence just kept telling me, you just go, you just go.
Yeah.
The following day, I was with my cousin. It's called Mika. Went with Micah and we looked for my dad from one shop to another because it was in a different premise during that time. So he had changed.
Yeah.
So we went to that shop, we asked, they told us he moved, but they didn't know. So we looked from one point to another, and sure enough, my dad is this business person who a few people know him in the city.
Yeah.
So we were directed to one of the shops. I got someone who was actually the personal assistant.
Yes.
I asked him, is Mr. So-and-so in?
Yeah.
So he looked at me with some weird eyes and look and asked me, is it a business issue or a family issue? So there's a way I look like my dad.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to picture.
Yes.
I think this first.
Yes. It's only that I'm slender. My dad is huge.
Yeah.
I was creepy. I told him it's a business issue and I was serious. Yes.
Hey, the audacity. Okay.
You know, my dad deals with car paints and he has that machine and all that.
Yeah.
So possibly I could look like one of the boys of the mechanic.
Yes.
So I would possibly have been sent to check maybe the paint and all that.
Yeah.
So I just told him it's a business issue. I wanted to talk to him about something in the business. I'm not making a story. This is exactly what I told him. So he told me he's not around, but I can give you his number and then you'll talk to him.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he gave me the number. So when I got out of the shop, I loaded in credit of about 200.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to call my dad.
I'm calling my papa.
Yeah, I'm calling my papa. Oh dear, my dad, I've never asked him. But he was not in the country. I think he was outside the country. And the country was in, it was just deducting credit when I was calling.
Yeah.
So my credit ended and that lady, the amazing lady who normally tells us your credit is depleted.
Credit is depleted.
You know?
Yeah.
So to cut the long story short, 1 week later I received this call.
Yeah.
When I finished Form 4, my uncle gave me a Motorola C118. I don't know if you've ever seen that phone.
I think
it has an aerial.
Yeah, I know it.
That was my first phone.
Yeah.
And that is the phone my dad called me through.
Yeah.
So when I received this call, let me tell you, Sifa, I connected with my dad on a phone call. I could just hear some heavy voice on the other side. Hello. And I was just like, hello, my name is, because he didn't know Kanda.
Yeah, he's wondering, like, who be this?
You know, there's something I didn't mention, and I'll just touch on it in a bit.
Okay.
To backtrack, I used to have, another name, my dad's name. But now when I was in the other home, they actually,
baptized you different.
they told me to drop that name.
I see.
And they tried to give me my stepfather's name. And I couldn't go well with that name. I actually dropped that name and I called myself Eugene. So I used to be Steve.
Wait, Eugene is, you gave yourself the name Eugene?
Eugene. So I was Steve.
Okay.
I was Steve and the name and the name of my dad and my surname.
Yeah.
But because the other family could not sit well with that name,
Yeah.
I had to drop it.
Okay.
And they gave me the name of my stepfather. I refused. So I had a very heart-to-heart conversation with my grandfather.
Yeah.
And I told him, I love to be called your name. So my grandfather is called Okanda.
Yeah.
So he gave me the name Okanda.
Okay.
But before then, because I was only remaining with one name, Steve.
Yes.
So I was called Stephen Eugene. I baptized myself a name.
Yeah, Eugene.
But I didn't have a surname. So I took the name of my grandpa,
Yeah.
Okanda. That was safer because he helped us in time of need.
Yeah.
So when I was having a conversation with my dad on call, I couldn't say I am Okanda. It could be like, who is this? Who is Okanda? So I say I'm Steve, the son to so and so. And my dad was like, where are you guys? I told him we're in this and this place. He told me, organize with mom, and I'd love to meet you.
What?
It was a simple, less than 5 minutes conversation.
How did you feel?
It was a mixture of reaction.
Okay.
Is he joking? Is it true?
Yeah.
Is it a dream?
You even don't know if whatever he's saying is true. Is he going to change his mind?
Is he going to change his mind?
Yeah.
Is he going maybe to give us a lecture when we meet with him?
Yeah.
Are they going to fight? Because I'm used to seeing my mom being fought,
Yeah.
Are they going to fight?
Yeah.
And I was just having a myriad of thoughts. So the day came, and I met with my dad. We actually got to the hotel earlier. So I saw this huge man coming and walking in, bossy.
Here I am.
And I looked at him, I looked down, I looked at him, I looked down, and I broke down in tears. I broke down in tears and I wiped them. And then he came and he hugged us. I was still having, a hard time to imagine. I'm sitting down with my dad, and questions of, where were you? Sure, where were you? Where were you when mom was being beaten? Where were you when life was not making sense?
Yeah.
Boom, to just leave that, he came and we ate, and at some point it was a moment of reconciliation. They asked each other for forgiveness. I saw them, just embracing what is happening at that time, and that was the connecting factor. The first question my dad asked me was, which level of education are you? Not even how old are you? Or possibly he knew. And if I could have an opportunity to ask my dad a question, which I wanted to, I could have asked him, where were you when all these things were happening? But I felt something like, don't go in that direction.
Oh, your story, man. Like, I just feel like, for me, I don't think I would have handled it. Like, it's giving me some emotion. Like, it's too much.
It was too much, Sifa. It was too much. I was just trying because, for me, life taught me to be a young lion. To roar when things get tough. So, I was trying to brace myself, and me, I was taken through the initiation process by men. They told us you don't cry before another man. So I was just breaking down in tears. I was just wiping and trying to calm myself, looking at my dad, and he's just there, he's smiling, and I'm like, Dad, really, I thought you could have just come, and say sorry to me first, But I felt like we don't have to leak on the wounds of the past. We can chat away forward, going ahead, from where we are going forward. My dad asked me, the first question he asked me, which level of education are you? I had actually walked with my admission letter that day.
Bright boy.
Boom!
Here it is, Papa.
I'm called to KU. We don't have money.
Yeah.
And my dad was so excited. I could see the feel. He was so excited. So he told me, prepare yourself. We actually met, I think it was on a Wednesday. It was midweek. So he told me, prepare yourself this weekend. You'll go to Nairobi. I have never been to Nairobi. I remember my aunts used to tell me, we will take you to Nairobi. You know how our aunts used to tell us.
Especially the ones living in Nairobi.
And then they come and they tell me, now, we will take you to Nairobi. work hard, we'll take you to Nairobi, you know, and you used to hear Nairobi and all that.
I'll buy something from Nairobi.
We will buy you something from Nairobi. So I'm here and he's telling me, you'll go to Nairobi. I'm like, with who?
With who? Yeah.
And then my dad is telling me, you'll go and meet your cousins there.
Yeah.
Sure enough, Saturday came.
Yeah.
I boarded a matatu. They're called North Rift. They come from Eldoret. I boarded a North Rift. Boom, 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 boom.
Nairobi.
To Nairobi. I met with my cousin.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I saw the tall buildings.
Yes, the
things
talking about.
Yeah, I could only see on TV, and I was, hey. I remember one occasion when I was walking with my cousin, and I actually hit one of those pillars in town, because I was in a state of amazement.
Yeah, like, what are this?
It was the first time I was seeing so many people
at
one time, and I remember I asked my cousin, where are these people going? why are so many of them going towards this direction?
What's happening?
And we are going towards the other direction. And he was telling me, this is the city.
Yeah,
people are doing their business.
Yeah.
And we boarded a matatu to go to KU.
Yeah.
And I was just peeping through the window, you know, just looking at them. Come and think about, if I was not with my cousin, possibly everything could have gone.
Yeah.
Of course, we got to KU.
Okay.
My cousin walked me around KU. So I was with my cousin. We took a photo. You know, KU is one of the universities that have gates.
Yeah, the gates, the investment in that unit.
We actually have a TV. We have a TV at the gates. So we took a photo and all that. To cut the long story short, after the weekend, I went back to Eldoret. During the day of admission, my dad told me, now you have gone to Nairobi, you will take yourself to school. And sure enough, I left home to join campus as a first year. My dad paid my school fees, supported me along the way. I joined Kenyatta University. I committed my heart to serving God, like no one's business. I just joined in, got myself into ministry in the Christian Union, served, you know, passionately. But in 2017, I had an encounter with God during one of the worship experiences. And I will never forget that day. I know people go to the university to find so many things, to find wives, to find degrees. But I think I went to KU to meet God. And in 2017, I had an encounter with him. In it's called SZ39 Hall. I was in a moment of prayer. It was a worship experience, and it was a powerful move of God. And right about that, I had a trance. And I was sort of being given instruction. The things you have gone through in life, they were not meant for you. They were meant so that you can be a voice to them that are going through that experience.
So true.
Boom.
Yeah, God takes us through an experience, you know.
Because of course
it was important for you at that time.
It was important for me. And I'm a firm believer that in the economy of God, no experience is wasted.
True.
You know.
So true.
After the worship experience, you know, it happened. I started seeking God seriously when I was in my second year. We could go into a worship service. In KU, we used to have 3 services because we are so many. We used to be so many Christian Union members. So the first service could start at 6:30, and we have been there since 5 for the morning glory. So I remember with some of my friends who we used to tirelessly seek God. We could get into the morning devotion, get into the first service. We could actually pray, and I still do this. You know, could pray until they carry you off the main auditorium, and they used to take us in some toilets that were just behind the auditorium. They said, those who are in KU and are watching this can understand. There's the 39 hall. We used to have washrooms, and they lock us there, and we could pray from that moment 6:30 until 1 p.m. when the service is ending. You wake up from a place of prayer, the service ended, you came with some white clothes, you are dusty, and that happened for quite a number of time. And that is when I had an encounter with God. And then God gave me those instructions. In 2017, I committed my heart to join the high school ministry in Kenyatta University. And I used to go for high school ministry, specifically to share my story. And I have shared my story. Up to this time, I've shared my story in more than 200 high schools. In so many counties. I can't even mention.
Yeah.
Sifa, every time I've shared my story about family trauma, boys and girls have run after me after the service.
Yeah, because these things happen.
Oh dear.
And people don't like talking about it. Actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, oh God, I pray that we be real with students. Every time I told them my story, and they could come and tell me, you know, they call me pastor. I'm going through the same issue.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with my parent. I am battling with my mom. I can't find home to be peaceful. And all those things. I said, this is it. This is actually what God wants me to do. I did that for my entire, that's actually what I used to do during my free time in school. Of course, sometimes I could dodge classes to go. I'm not recommending that to anybody, but I think I was being driven by my passion for God.
You know, there's always that particular voice that pushes you no matter what. It starts with a whisper and then it compels you until that day when you're able to move out.
Correct.
That's when it will happen for you.
Correct.
Or else it will keep on knocking. Hey, I said this. Have you done it? Yeah.
And let me tell you, moments with God, they're so disruptive.
Yeah.
So I joined Kenyatta University to do a Bachelor's of Science, and I was doing biochemistry.
Okay.
Bachelor of Science in biochemistry. Biochemistry is tough. Guys who are doing medicine will tell you biochemistry is tough. They do biochemistry as a unit. We are doing biochemistry as a course.
Yeah.
And it is tough. And God has just disrupted everything. But yet again, God gave me grace because I got into leadership in the Christian Union. I served God in so many platforms. When I got to my fourth year, I was given a responsibility by Kenyatta University Executive Committee to chair the Student Leaders Convention. And I organized a conference. And that was the first time, you know, that was the second time we were having that conference. And we had almost more than 500 students who joined, who came to that conference. And I remember during that time, with the committee of about 17, I actually channeled confidence in them. I told them, this time we are going to invite people who have had personal journey with God and with themselves. And I told them, one of the person I'm feeling convicted to invite is Dr. Ezekiel Mutua.
Wow.
The former you know, CEO of KFCB. That man has an powerful story of how God actually has transformed him. And he has walked through the ladders of leadership, you know. And someone gave me his number. I rang him. Of course, by that time he was busy. He didn't. So he told me to text him. I sent him this long message, and sure enough, he actually responded.
Wow.
He told me, "I have taken note. I will revert." 2 days later, you know, I received a call from the personal assistant. So they told me to write a letter through the, you know, the corporate affairs office, which I did. A few months before that, that was in 2019, because the conference was happening in February 2020. You know, December of 2019, I had attended Ezra conference, and that's the time I met Mr. Waihiga Mwaura. He's a senior reporter at Citizen TV. And I told him, I wanted people who have had stories, and they're just not living because they're not just making it in life because they have clean academic sheets, but they've had a journey with God. So I told Waihiga, because he had shared his story actually during that conference in a panel discussion. I told Waihiga, my name is Eugene. I remember when I shook his hand, he told me, can we walk as we talk? Because they were actually leaving for Nairobi. You know, they are busy people. So we were walking, and I was quick. My name is Eugene Okanda. We're organizing a student leadership conference, and we'd love you to come and attend. And he told me, is it a Christian event? I told him, in fact, it's being organized by the Christian Union. He gave me his number and told me, you call me tomorrow and give me more details. I did. And sure enough, during that event, Waihiga came. Dr. Ezekiel Mutua came. You know, that time he was the CEO. He came actually with chess cards. That was the first time in my life to receive a powerful person. He came with chess cards, and I was there receiving him, and I felt like God was allowing me to step in a place that I have always desired. Shook his hand, we walked through. He spoke so powerfully during that event, and so many people were inspired. Of course, in 2020 April, March. That's
Yeah.
when COVID hit. Schools were closed down. I was in my
Yeah.
4th year. In fact, we were just remaining with 1 week to sit for exams. All those things were cancelled.
Yeah.
So we jumped in. We went home because schools were closed. So we went in a moment of lockdown. That is
Yeah.
exactly what happened. So I called my dad. I told my dad, I am not coming home.
Yes.
I think because I was in my 4th year, this is actually what I told him. I just want to have time with myself and see what I need to do post university.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I didn't go home. And during that period of time, my birthday month is in May 14th. So I had a conviction to seek God and pray. Of course, we are not shout about this, but I committed myself to pray and fast for 21 days.
Wow.
And what was I praying about? I was praying for just one thing, clarity of purpose. For 21 days. So when May came, during my birthday month, I committed myself to pray from day 1 to the 21st.
Yeah.
All through my my birthday months and all that. So day 1, clarity of purpose. Day 2, clarity of purpose. Day 3, clarity of purpose. During day 6 of prayer, I had a conviction and I had a reminder that collides with the event I organized in Kenyatta University. And I had a conviction to start a platform that will bring together young leaders. And I didn't know how to start. So I told myself I'm going to start it on Zoom.
Before you even talk about that thing,
Sure.
Did you ever forgive your dad? Did you?
So during this time, by the way, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
When I was in my 4th year, it should be either my 2nd semester of my 3rd year or my first semester of my 4th year, I attended a convention somewhere just within Nairobi.
Yeah.
And one of the sessions during that convention, it was about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I will encourage anyone who has had family traumas to do this.
Yeah.
Don't assume. I was working in assumption.
Yeah.
So when I attended that conference, that man came and spoke so powerfully about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I realized I was still carrying my stepfather in my heart. And he said, if you know you're carrying someone in your heart, write their names on paper. So it was so much practical. I wrote the name of my stepfather on paper. And I said, you can just come and drop them somewhere in a bucket. And people did that in that convention. We wrote and we came and we dropped them in some dustbin. And then he practically went and burnt those papers. And he allowed us for a moment of forgiveness and praying for forgiveness.
Okay.
And that was the moment I let go of the pain I was carrying about my stepfather. For my biological father, when I met him, I think that moment of reconciliation when we were with mom settled it.
Yeah.
I found him. It's like finding your life partner. Your heart is at rest. Let's not go into that discussion. But I felt like my heart was at rest.
Okay.
So that's actually how I forgave my stepfather, and I had to forgive also my biological father for not being present.
Yeah.
So that moment of reconciliation was also very important.
Yeah. You're playing a game here.
Yeah.
Never have I ever. Okay?
Okay.
So you pick the card, and then if you have, you drink. If you've never, it's a pass.
Okay.
Yeah, so start.
So I pick the...
Yeah, you pick here. And then you open it and you say what it is. Never have I ever. And then you say if you have or not.
This one looks positive. No!
What is the question?
Never have I ever fart in a lift.
Okay.
In public.
Have you? Have you not?
Never.
Okanda, even in public.
Just like, yes.
Okay, then you're not drinking. It's me drinking because I have. Anyway, it happens.
Oh.
Yeah, it happens.
All right.
The next question.
Okay.
Never have I ever stolen from my friends.
Have you ever?
No.
Okay, I've never.
Okay. Pick there.
Right. Woo! Okay. Never have I ever ignored my friend's text. Oh, I have. So many times.
Short on you.
And sorry, guys. I have ignored your text. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The last one. Never have I ever slept without taking a bath. Have you? Okay, for me.
I have. I have.
So both of us take a shot and then we call this a wrap.
Sure.
Anyway, who doesn't? It's
Who
normal.
doesn't? Ah,
Yeah, we're done.
done.
Oh my goodness.